Musk is also the boss of SpaceX, Neuralink, the Boring Company, all at the cutting edge of technology, breaking not just new frontiers of science, but of human endeavor. SpaceX launches 100% of NASA's missions these days. Neuralink is pushing the limits of mental and physical capabilities of humans by turning them into part robots with embedded computer chips. The Boring Company is focused on the future of transportation. Taken together with social media platform X, it's a universe that parallelly competes with governments. So lesser the regulation, shorter the rules, easier for the tech bros to navigate faster towards their goals. Just so that you don't think it's about Trump. Back in 2022, Pentagon faced a scary situation. In one of the offensives, as the Ukrainian battalions entered the area of the Donetsk republics, a territory contested and occupied by Russia, their Musk-owned Starlink communication systems collapsed. Having provided Ukraine with his Starlink connectivity, Musk got restless as unpaid bills mounted. The Ukrainian forces were heavily dependent on his satellite infrastructure, which he enthusiastically provided at the beginning of the war. Few months into the war, and Ukrainians had no money to pay. Musk sent across a message by just pressing the switch off button. Panic set in. Top levels of the US government had to intervene. Ideally, a phone call from a junior bureaucrat dealing with the vendors would have sufficed. But realizing that Musk could make or break the Ukraine war efforts, Pentagon deployed a very senior official who was asked to be deferential to the mercurial billionaire on call, while requesting his continued support till the time that the US government arranged for some of the pending dues to be paid. This was also the time Musk would boast of being a phone call away from Putin and would openly bat for a peace plan that had most of the Kremlin talking points incorporated. It is apocryphal to impose royal authority over the parliament. The 17th century king of France, Louis XIV, allegedly told the parliamentarians, "I am the state." Pretty close to that. Musk was asked in a podcast a couple of years ago whether he has more influence than the American government. He replied immediately, in some ways, yes. Another tech bro at loggerheads with Musk, Sam Altman, himself no stranger to tech bro traits of narcissism and obsession with future control, once said about his former boss, "Musk desperately wants to save the world, but only if he can be the one to save it." Those who have swung from Democrats to Republicans and from Obama to Trump include the big fish. Meta boss Mark Zuckerberg went neutral during the campaign, writing a letter to the Congress that he was forced to help Biden personally by shadow banning news of his son's kickbacks in Ukraine. That was like currying favors with Trump. This Wednesday, Zuckerberg had a dinner with the president-elect at Mar-a-Lago. For the first time since 1988, the Washington Post did not endorse a candidate at the behest of owner Jeff Bezos. The decision itself became a Trump endorsement, giving tailwinds to a key Trump campaign issue of media bias. In a way, the relationship of the corporate moneybags with politics is not new. The Nagar Seth, the city banker in ancient India, was a venerable institution having decisive role in the king's court. Our freedom struggle had the house of Birlas and the Bajajes bankrolling the Congress party. During the First World War, J.P. Morgan lent huge sums of money to the Allied powers. The Rockefellers poured money into the League of Nations. George Soros underwrote civil society reform in Eastern Europe post the breakup of the USSR. And Soros continues to tinker with governments even now. But that is all like kindergarten stuff by Musk's standards. Literally, at the press of a button, he can make Putin win the war. With another, he can disconnect NASA from its space assets, launching as he is 100% of the space agency's missions through his rockets. And now, with Trump in the White House, he would even decide if those bureaucrats from the Pentagon to the foggy bottom even get to keep their jobs. It's a tech bro world. Learn to live with it. Moving on. Maharashtra election results were a surprise on the lines of Haryana, handing victory to the incumbent BJP or NDA governments against the trends recorded by a majority of opinion and exit polls. At least 2 exit polls did get it right in the case of Maharashtra, while 100% of them were wrong on Haryana. The surprise element was owing to the turnaround from June, when the BJP had lost considerable ground. If June was the party's worst electoral performance in decades, November has brought the best ever. The post-results analysis is centered around 2 key factors. One, that there was a surge in women voting, and much of it went to the Mahayuti due to the Majhi Ladki Bahin cash transfer scheme. This could be a reasonable explanation given that in Jharkhand, a similar cash transfer scheme called Mai Samman helped swing women votes in favor of Hemant Soren, bringing him back to power. 2. The counter-polarization of the majority Hindu community on the back of Ek Hai to Safe Hai pitch made the BJP emerge biggest winner in Muslim-dominated constituencies also. Let's look at this aspect in a little greater detail. Of the 38 seats in Maharashtra with over 20% Muslim population, BJP netted 14, increasing from 11 in 2019. Along with allies Shiv Sena and the NCP, which got 6 and 2 respectively, the Yuti got 22 of those 38 Muslim-dominated seats. The opposition MVA got only 13, including 5 for the Congress, 6 for Uddhav's Sena, and 2 for Sharad Pawar's NCP. The AIMIM, which styles itself as a Muslim party, managed to win only 1 of the 16 assembly segments it put up candidates on. This adds to the surprise, given that as a smart strategy, Owaisi's party had reduced its contests from 44 in 2019 to only 16 this time to conserve resources and focus sharper. The one MLA AIMIM would have in the new Maharashtra Assembly won by the lowest margin of this election of just 162 votes in Malegaon. Remember, this despite 2 prominent Muslim bodies, the All India Muslim Personal Law Board and the All India Ulema Board, coming out openly in support of the Congress and the MVA. The demands put forth by the 2 Muslim bodies, covered comprehensively during the news cycle by all media platforms, are variations of the 1929 14 Points Charter of Muhammad Ali Jinnah, which later got incorporated in the 1940 Lahore Resolution of the Muslim League. The Lahore Resolution also came to be known as the Pakistan Resolution and could be singularly held responsible for the tearing asunder of India into 2 countries with partition along religious lines in 1947. In this backdrop, the Maharashtra results are a heartening development. Little early to say that this is outright rejection of the Muslim vote bank politics by the electorate, but there's a pattern that is encouraging. If Majhi Ladki Bahin scheme has delivered cash across communities, and if women from the Muslim community saw this secular governance as kosher, if young men from the community realize that the Mumbai Trans-Harbour Link or the Atal Setu is a marvel that makes their lives better, if the startup schemes are delivering to them without discrimination, and if this has reflected in the voting pattern, it is to the credit of the Muslim community that they refuse to be seen as a herd of lamb dictated by the clerics, that they would exercise their right to vote as citizens in a secular relationship with the government. There is a reason to believe that Muslims did not carry out a feared vote jihad. The Baikala seat in Mumbai has 41% Muslim electorate. Here, the main contest was between the Uddhav Sena and the Shinde Sena, and not between the Congress and the AIMIM. There are similar examples from across the state explaining Mahayuti's lead over the MVA in the 38 seats that have a substantial minority vote. And while all eyes were on Maharashtra, a bigger story unraveled in an Uttar Pradesh bipole. Kundarki Assembly segment in Moradabad district showed a miracle result. BJP won the seat, which has 65% Muslim population. The party's candidate Thakur Ramveer Singh's victory against 11 Muslim candidates, including one of the Samajwadi Party, could not be without Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas working on the ground. And if that be the case, where does BJP's politics go from here? The Ek Hai to Safe Hai slogan was the BJP's response to the possible Muslim polarization it saw during the general elections. On the Muslim side, a repeat of Lok Sabha pattern did not happen, giving the BJP dividends. As they say, you cannot make a souffle rise twice. In which case, going forward, would the BJP broaden the appeal of Ek Hai to Safe Hai, taking the communal sting out of it and make it inclusivist on the lines of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas? That brings me to a seemingly unconnected development, the violence that has broken out in Sambal town of Uttar Pradesh. A court-appointed survey team faced resistance from the Muslim community, leading to stone pelting and subsequent police action on November 24th. Clashes have already claimed 5 lives. The issue has reached the Supreme Court. Prima facie, there seems to be a case of shortcuts at the level of the district court, which issued ex-parte survey order of the disputed site. It's a time-tested legal aphorism. Justice should not only be done, but should also be seen to be done. Without going into the merits of the case, little more caution in following due process would have prevented a law and order situation emerging in the sensitive town. The Hindu angst about a civilizational wrong against their places of worship during medieval times is real, not imagined. Those destructions happened and happened in a planned manner. There might be 100,000 such sites spread across the country. Even in Sambal, there's a stone edict which mentions Babur's role in the destruction of an existing temple over which a mosque was laid. But the question is, should correction of that civilizational wrong be allowed to ruin our present and jeopardize our future? Was RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat being a lesser Hindu when he questioned the need to look for a shivling beneath every mosque? In the same address, he added that RSS was not in favor of launching any other movement on these issues. Let's listen in.
हमने 9 नवंबर को कह दिया कि एक राम जन्मभूमि का आंदोलन था जिसमें हम अपने प्रकृति के विरुद्ध किसी ऐतिहासिक कारण से उस समय की परिस्थिति में सम्मिलित हुए। हमने उस काम को पूरा किया। अब हमको कोई आंदोलन वगैरह करना नहीं है। मानवापी के बारे में हमारी कुछ श्रद्धाएं हैं, परंपरा से चलती आई, हम कर रहे, ठीक है, परंतु हर मस्जिद में शिवलिंग क्यों देखना?
We need to think. Can some of the Hindu activists listen to the RSS chief at least? Muslim intransigence in accepting or not accepting medieval thuggery for what it is, just medieval thuggery, of using some laws as shields while obstructing other constitutional provisions that aim to build a common religion-neutral citizenry, does not lead us to a national contract. We need to go back to the drawing board as a society, as a nation, and that leads me to the third topic in today's episode, one which affects Hindus and Muslims, Christians and Sikhs, and every breathing soul in the country alike. We choked, our eyes burnt, our lungs smoked the equivalent of 4 packs of cigarettes every day. We lived through a gas chamber called Delhi. Some might have died. All of us reduced our life expectancy this month. From the all-knowing Supreme Court judges to the abundant street urchin at the New Delhi railway station. From the cabinet secretary who thinks that this nation moves at the snap of his finger to the peon in his office who thinks the file cannot complete its journey without his short walk between 2 tables. From the parliamentarians who fancy themselves as Caesars ordained, to their chamchas who believe their lords can do no wrong. From the Delhi chief minister who cries when her boss comes out of jail but only thinks combat otherwise on governance issues, to the voter in Kalkaji, Atishi's constituency, who voted hoping something would be done of this annual death warrant that fills the air of Delhi every winter. Each one of us lost a few years of our lives in the gas chamber. When a public health emergency hits, there are physical manifestations. Ambulances blowing sirens, medics rushing through trauma centers, stretchers being pushed, ICUs full of patients on life support. There was nothing of that sort as Delhi and the extended national capital region choked on pollution. Perhaps that invisibilization of slow but sure death explains the bureaucratic response, the political slugfest, the taking in your stride acceptance. Chalta hai. Perhaps the lack of drama in the collective homicide explains the absence of protests at Jantar Mantar, blockading of parliament at Vijay Chowk. There are no farmers at the Singhu border now stopping traffic on the highway. Some of them could have been busy alighting those stubble fires for the genocide. They can't be put in jail because they perform the important function of tilling the land so that you and I have our food and die after that. The farmer leaders wearing green caps have vanished in thin air, perhaps consumed by the grime of the stubble burning. Nowhere to be seen were those rent-a-cause activists who create slogans out of the same thin air, maybe lulled by the love for those farmers. Also missing were the toolkits of those crypto Greta Thunbergs who believe their social media posts set the nation's agenda. The Diwali crackers are bad socialites took the opportunity to have their social media detox break in Goa, perhaps with its 45 AQI. We failed as a society. We failed as a nation. Our institutions failed. The pollution control boards control anything but pollution. The green tribunal bureaucracies feel a sense of self-importance, imposing graded response action plans, as if a graded dying is okay. After all, choking lungs do not have the same glamour as a heart attack. Our courts choked like our lungs. Our political parties genuflected before the stubble-burning mafia. Our bureaucracies tottered. Some of those pension-secure stupid clerks might have felt great satisfaction that they shut down schools for a day and saved our children 5 extra breaths. Our NGOs delivered nonsense. Our media, me included, proved to be ostriches. Make no mistake. I mean every word of this. You know how serious the situation is when a yoga teacher asking to postpone classes till smoke goes away is not a meme. It happened for real when I approached one for my mother this past fortnight. The oxygen cylinder supplier said he was doing brisk business. The AQI monitors of the Central Pollution Control Board maxed out, meaning they showed a reading of 500. The maximum that those meters can record, which means that actual air quality in Delhi was much more toxic. A couple of years ago, I was meeting a diplomat in Khan Market. That's where they prefer to meet, unfortunately, to conform to the upward mobility of India as a nation. I asked how her Delhi posting had been since it was a farewell meeting. She said New Delhi is considered a punishment posting among the diplomatic corps in our national capital. Taken aback, I asked why. She said it was due to the pollution here. It's a hard family posting, and most governments give an extra allowance to entice their diplomats if they choose to serve in Delhi. It's no cheap thrill. It's a national shame. Shame on the Aam Aadmi Party if it saw votes in the criminal burning of stubble in Punjab. Shame on the BJP if it thought a choking Delhi would vote out AAP with vengeance come January. Shame on the executive, both the IAS and IPS in Punjab, Haryana and Delhi, which did not treat a national emergency as a national emergency. Perhaps the thaw with China along the LAC in Ladakh is in time. The first thing we should do is to get the Beijing city fathers as consultants for Delhi. Complete the shame, learn from China, and make sure we don't breathe poison next winter. Thanks for watching.
सॉरी डॉक्टर। बनी सफीना, शादी कैसी चल रही है?
मैं बताइए, आइस बोला था लाने को, लद्दाख चला गया, पूछा फोन पे इतना बिजी बिजी क्यों है, तो क्या बोला तू? हाँ, माउंटेन्स वर कॉलिंग। इतना पहाड़ों के साथ गुलू गुलू करेगा तो धोप तुएंगी ना इसको।
डॉक्टर जहांगीर, मैं उड़ना चाहता हूँ, दौड़ना चाहता हूँ, बस इस घर में रुकना नहीं चाहता।
बट क्यों?
उस दिन सनसेट देखने छज्जे पे चढ़ा, टूट गया। I don't feel safe।
हाँ, तू किसने बोला घर की दीवार पे रॉक क्लाइंबिंग करने को?
सफीना बदतमीजी।
समझ गया। मेरे पास आप दोनों की प्रॉब्लम की मेडिसिन है। इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग शिप भी बन सकती है।
Guru Kher avatar, which is very seriously a part of you because you want to share your life lessons with people.
My father used to say the easiest thing in the world is to make somebody happy. You can only do that when you are happy yourself. We are living in a world where you are being made to feel that somebody else is doing better than you. So I think it's important to share what this world has given me, what India has given me, what cinema has given me, what people have given me, what people have taught me. It's important to share that.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Very good morning, viewers. It's 11 a.m. and you're watching Republic TV. I'm Deepak Suresh Kumar. The judicial panel has reached Sambal. The three-member panel has reached the violent zone that was witnessed on November 24th. Now they're assimilating what exactly happened there. We'll get you all the live action after a quick check on the headlines. Members of judicial panel arrive in Sambal to begin probe into November 24 violence.
29 नवंबर को जब श्री आदि पुरुष श्याम दास और रंगनाथ दास ब्रह्मचारी दोनों जेल में बंद चिन्मय कृष्ण प्रभु को प्रसाद देकर वापस आ रहे थे तो रास्ते में उनको पुलिस ने गिरफ्तार कर लिया। यह भी खबर मिल रही है कि चिन्मय कृष्ण दास के जो सेक्रेटरी थे उनको भी गिरफ्तार किया गया है।
Big claim by Vice President of ISKCON in Kolkata says 2 additional ISKCON monks detained. Jammu and Kashmir police conduct raids in different locations on day 7. Over 100 locations have been raided so far and 12 people have been arrested in the week-long operations. Indian student from Telangana shot dead at gas station near Chicago in US. EAM Jaishankar condoles the tragic incident. Trump, the president-elect of the United States, has issued a warning on imposing 100% tariffs on BRICS nations if they attempt to undermine the US dollar. ED summons Raj Kundra again in money laundering case linked to pornography. First up, viewers, let's cut across to those visuals coming in from Sambal, where the three-member judicial panel has reached the Sambal district.
They will be submitting a detailed report on their findings to Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath. It remains on the edge. Security has been heightened for the survey, and outsiders have been banned from entering till the 10th of December. And right now, these are the visuals of the judicial panel in Sambal. They are being accompanied by a team of police personnel to ensure nothing untoward happens during their visit and during the probe. The judicial panel will go through these riot zones where violence was witnessed on November 24th. The police is briefing them on what exactly happened, at which point and where. So after seeking all the details and after formulating a detailed report, the findings will be submitted to the Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath. This is the special panel that has been formed to investigate the November 24th violence. November 24th, the day when the survey team along with several other policemen were attacked by a mob, and now in the run-up to the investigations, there are several CCTV clippings and audio tapes coming out, and we've been showing you how the entire riot, how it was meticulously planned and orchestrated. There were calls made, there were instructions given, and there are definitely hidden hands behind these riots in Sambal district. And this three-member judicial panel is in Sambal to ascertain what happened and what led to it and how it all started on November 24th, after which they will be preparing a detailed report and they will be submitting it to the Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister. Right now, they're collecting as much as details as they can from the police who have been deployed there. Remember, security has also been heightened in Sambal district. The ban on outsiders has been extended till the 10th of December. And the investigations are currently underway to nab all those perpetrators who are involved. All those who lit the Sambal fire will be zeroed in on by the police and they will be arrested. Strict action will be taken. Posters of the missing accused in Sambal violence case have also been plastered across Sambal. Anybody who has the details of their whereabouts will be rewarded. A reward has also been announced on these faces. 74 of them have been identified, and right now they are currently at the Shahi Jama Masjid where the survey was to take place. This is the exact structure where the survey team was present at. They had arrived to carry out a survey following a petition that was filed in the court saying that there used to be a temple here, and following the court's order for a survey, the team had arrived here to analyze and also scan the entire structure to find any sort of relevance to the petition that has been filed. And during their survey, a mob with over 700 to 800 people had gathered in and outside the Shahi Jama Masjid, and all the roads leading to the Shahi Jama Masjid. They had garroted the police personnel. What started off as a confrontation blew up into an all-out war between the two factions. In fact, some of the rioters also had deadly weapons. They were armed, they were equipped, and they knew what was to come. It was completely planned and orchestrated by this particular mob. And now the judicial panel is right here in Sambal to get a sense of the ground situation and what's happening right there. This is in the aftermath of the violence. It's been exactly a week, viewers. Last Sunday was when the violence broke out, leading to stone pelting, arson, and also injuries to a couple of dozen of police personnel who were with the survey team. And there have been many casualties as well. The police have registered FIR against 800 unknown individuals, out of which 74 to 80 of them have been identified. Their posters are out, their photos are out, and their details are being collected from the locals, as well as the locals are also being questioned by the Sambhal police. But right now, viewers, these are the visuals from outside the Shahi Jama Masjid, and inside the judicial panel is present. And we also told you about the audio tapes and the CCTV clippings that we had accessed. Some of these CCTV clippings clearly show how the mob orchestrated the entire incident that happened on November 24th, how they mobilized people, how they gave a clarion call to assemble in front of Shahi Jama Masjid when the survey was going on, how they mobilized stones, how they were armed with weapons, and how, in fact, weapons like a knife were also recovered from the crime scene. And some of these audio tapes also, viewers, you've heard them saying, get those things. And the police are asserting whether those things are stones, weapons, and other necessary arms that they needed for the violent protest that they took out in response to the survey that was being carried out. And this is the 3-member team that you see on the right side of your screens, currently being accompanied and flanked by the top police officials of Sambhal. They are on ground zero. And one of the tapes that we showed to you clearly showed how a rioter was asking others to assemble, saying,